Welcome to Creative Tien channel. Today I'm going to use my Brother 260 bulky knitting machine with a ribber to do a basic 1x1 ribbing and also increase and decrease with the ribbing. You will need a ribber like this one, that's a KR 260, to go with your knitter on the top. And make sure you switch to the connecting arm so it can connect to the ribber carriage. The ribbing is not as complicated as it looks, but if you don't do it all the time, then you can forget it very quickly. So this video can be a refresher, so you know which knobs to turn and which setting to use. Here is a sample. I have decreased on this corner and I have increased from here. So you can see the slope. So let's get started. I'm using my DK weight yarn, and the yarn is kind of important for the ribber knitting because with the ribber sometimes it can be very picky. I tried the cheaper acrylic yarns and I find them get caught very easily. So if you have problem knitting with a ribber, maybe try a better yarn. First setting is a pitch. Set it to the P3. That's the number 3 on the top. P is for the full pitch and H is the half pitch. So you should be pointing to the 3 on the top. And for the needle setting, we can do every other needle. And the rest I will push it back to non-working position. And you'll be opposite on the ribber. So it doesn't hit the other needle. And we also need to move the ribber up so it's in the right position. You can just push the whole bed up. And the same on the left side. And you can see the correct position. The two beds are very close together. If the gap is too big, you cannot knit properly. You will need to adjust it. There are some knobs behind this bed. You will have to play around with it to make sure the gap is not too big. And we'll connect the carriage so it's secure. And the first setting is to start with the lowest tension. So we will go below 0, or you can start with 0. And the same here, you can go lower than 0. There's actually a star. And other settings are for normal knitting. No button is pushed, and this is set to N. And you can see we set up our needles, and the end needles should be in the knitter on the top bed, both of them. So the ribber has smaller number of needles. Now we're going to thread the yarn. We place the yarn through the gap. I add a clip here so it doesn't get caught easily. And place the yarn in the slot. Now we are ready to knit the first row. You can see we just need a zigzag row. And then we are going to hang the cast on comb. And I try to grab the center of the cast on comb so it will not tilt in one direction. And just pull out the little wire and you go from below in between all the stitches. This can be a little bit tricky. If you want, you can move the bed down a little bit so you can see the stitches better. Even though this is a small piece, I will still add 2 big weights because it will be more balanced. If you just add 1, it tends to tilt easily. So I'm just going to add 2 weights from below on the cast iron comb. Now we are ready to do the 3 salvage rows. Now here is a setting. We return this dial to 0, so it's slightly up than before. And same as rebar to the 0. And we are going to do the circular knitting, so we will set up the right side of the rebar to the top, so it's partial knitting. And for the knitter, we will set the left side of the part button, push in, so you will knit as a continuous circle. And make sure you push back the rebars back, so the gap is close together. Now we will knit 1 row from left to right. You can see the knitter side is knitted, but not the rebar side. And we knit it back. Now the rebar side is knitted, but not the knitter's side. And we do 1 more row. Again, the knitter side on the top is knitted. Now we finish the setup rows, we can start to set the main tension. You will need to do a sample to figure out the right tension for your project. I will set up to 2 right now and cancel all the part buttons. For the rebar, it's the same. We cancel the partial knitting, so it's all normal knitting, and change to your main tension. And for the button here, you can switch to 1, so it's not as tight as the first few rows. Now we just have to knit back and forth. That's our 1 by 1 ribbing. And if you want to do the decrease, the easiest way is to just transfer from the outermost stitch to the second one. So actually we are skipping 1 needle in between. And we have to do it in pairs. So if we decrease 1 stitch on the top, we have to decrease 1 stitch in the bottom. So just use your transferring tool, move it. So there are 2 stitches in this needle, and the empty needle go back to A, the non-working position. And the same on the bottom. Transfer the outermost needle to the second needle. So there will be 2 stitches on this needle. Oops. And place the empty needle back to A, non-working position. So now you can see we have the outermost stitches decreased. So we will knit 2 rows. And I will do the same 2 more times. We have to reduce or increase both top and bottom at the same time, so the outermost stitch will still be on the knitter side. Now I'm going to do the increase, and it's the same idea. I will just push 1 needle out. And also in the bottom, we will push 1 needle out to the working position. And we'll just knit. Now we have 1 stitch increased. 1 stitch on the top, 1 stitch below. And we'll do it 2 more times. Just push the needle out. Push the needle out. And 1 more time. When you want to finish up, you can use this double eye needle to transfer all the rebirth stitches back to the knitter. Now we have all the stitches in the knitter. I can drop the ribbon now. And I will just bind off and take it off the machine. And it's easier to take off all the weights below. You can see the curve here. We decrease 3 times first, and I need 2 rows in between. And I increase 3 times here. So it creates a curve or the V shape here. And you can see on the right side it's straight. So that's a decrease, that's an increase. And because 1 by 1 ribbon, it's the same on both sides. And also it will not curl because it's a 1 by 1 ribbon. So that's today's video. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.